So you've got the dream, right? Opening your own coffee roastery. You can almost smell the fresh roasted beans and hear the hum of the machine. It's an amazing vision. But let's be real, turning that dream into a business that actually lasts means you need a rock-solid plan. A lot of new roasteries trip up on the same basic physical planning mistakes. So today, we're going to build the blueprint to make sure you're not one of them.
We're going to walk through 4 key checkpoints based on some great advice from coffee expert Scott Rao. First up, we'll design the physical flow of your whole operation. Then, we'll figure out exactly how much space you're going to need. After that, we're tackling a sneaky technical problem with your chimney that you have to know about. And finally, we'll cover the essential step of dealing with local regulations.
Okay, first things first. Before you think about anything else, you have to decide how coffee is going to physically move through your building. And this isn't just about being tidy, It's all about efficiency. It is the absolute foundation of your roastery layout. If you get this wrong, trust me, you'll be creating a headache for yourself every single day.
The ideal path is a straight line. Seriously, it's that simple. Green coffee comes in and gets stored. Then it moves to the roaster. After that, it goes to a station for any mixing or just resting. Then it gets packed, and finally, it's out the door for shipping. The key here is keeping it simple. A straight line prevents a logistical nightmare of moving heavy bags back and forth, saving you a ton of time, and stopping your roastery from turning into total chaos.
Now you might be asking, why is that simple flow so important? Well, a single bag of green coffee weighs between 60 and 70 kilograms. That's up to 154 pounds. You're definitely not just tossing these over your shoulder. And that weight is exactly why you have to plan for wide pathways and have enough room to use pallet trucks or even a forklift right from day one. This is not a luxury, it's an absolute necessity for a smooth operation.
So now that we know how everything should flow, the next big question is, how much space do you actually need? You want enough room to work efficiently when you start, but you also need enough space to grow so you're not forced to move in a year or two.
Okay, so here's the rule of thumb. The recommended starting point is a minimum of 100 square meters, which is about 1,000 square feet. That gives you plenty of space to comfortably produce around 500 kilograms of coffee every week. And the math for scaling up from there is beautifully simple. For every extra 500 kilograms of weekly production you plan on, you just add another 50 square meters of space. Easy. And that number covers the whole shebang: storage, roasting, packing, and shipping.
All right, so you think you found it. The space has the right layout, it's the right size, it's perfect, right? Well, not so fast. There is a hidden technical issue that can make a building that seems perfect completely unusable for a roastery. And that hidden issue is the chimney.
And just so we're all on the same page, the technical term for that chimney pipe that vents all the smoke and exhaust from your roaster is the flue. Every single roaster has one, and its design is absolutely critical for the quality of your coffee.
This right here is why you should probably avoid renting a space in buildings that have more than 2 floors. See, if your flue is too tall, we're talking over 15 meters or about 50 feet, it creates something called back pressure. Think of it like trying to breathe out through a really, really long straw. That resistance means the exhaust can't escape easily, and that leads to unstable roasting and wildly inconsistent flavor. A shorter chimney, on the other hand, gives you stable, predictable airflow and, most importantly, consistent coffee.
We've covered the flow, the size, and a huge technical hurdle. Now for the final, and I mean non-negotiable checkpoint, good old-fashioned bureaucracy. You absolutely have to make sure you have official permission to operate before you commit to anything.
You can't just drop a commercial roaster into any building and punch a hole in the roof for a chimney. That almost always requires government permits. And this is especially true if you're looking at a cool historic property, a heritage-protected building, or anything in a dense city area. These locations have a ton of extra rules and regulations that you need to know about up front.
Look, if you remember one single thing from this entire explainer, please let it be this. Do not rent or buy a space until you have confirmed in writing that you're allowed to install your roaster and its chimney. Falling in love with a location and signing a lease only to find out you can't install the one piece of equipment your business depends on, it's a catastrophic, dream-killing mistake. And it happens more often than you'd think.
And there you have it. That's the blueprint. The 4 pillars to build on. 1. Design a straight-line workflow. 2. Plan for at least 100 square meters to start. 3. Avoid buildings where the chimney will be over 15 meters tall. And 4. Most importantly, get official permission before you sign on that dotted line.
So nailing down your physical space is a massive first step. It sets the entire foundation for your business. But once that building is secured and the keys are in your hand, what's the most critical step you need to take next to actually bring that roastery to life?